All right, let's dive into the super fascinating and, let's be honest, sometimes really frustrating world inside our own heads. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden reasons behind our choices, especially those ones that in hindsight make us go, "What was I thinking?" I mean, seriously, think about it for a sec. That thing you bought on impulse that's still in the box? That one more bite that turned into, well, more than one. Or that super important task you swore you'd do yesterday? Yeah, it happens to literally all of us. And you know what? There's a really good reason why.
Here's the thing. These little quirks, these so-called irrational moments, they're not a flaw in your character. They're not a bug. They're actually a feature of being human. They're hardwired into our brains, and we're about to unpack exactly how it all works.
So to understand why we make these weird choices today, we actually have to go way, way back. I'm talking thousands and thousands of years back, to the world where our brains were first getting their basic programming.
Just imagine it. For our ancestors, life wasn't about choosing a retirement plan. It was a non-stop series of high-stakes, split-second decisions. Is that a predator in the bushes, or is it just the wind? Can I eat this berry, or will it kill me? If you stop to think too long, you might not be around to think at all. So our brains got really good at making fast, gut-level decisions. And that right there is the fundamental mismatch. Our brain is basically running on ancient software. Software that was built for speed, for making life or death calls in a heartbeat. But our modern world, it demands accuracy. It wants us to make slow, careful, analytical choices. It's like we're trying to run brand new, complex software on a computer from decades ago. That's where all the interesting glitches happen. You see, to get that incredible speed, our brain uses all these little mental shortcuts. The official term for them is cognitive biases. You can think of them as the brain's little rules of thumb, or cheat codes. They help us make sense of the world without having to analyze every single piece of information. They work great most of the time, but they can also lead to some very predictable mistakes.
So let's get into it. We're going to look at 4 of the most powerful and most common of these cognitive glitches that are quietly shaping your decisions every single day, whether you realize it or not. First up, we've got a huge one: confirmation bias. To put it simply, our brains just absolutely love to be right. It's comfortable, it feels good. So without even thinking about it, we go looking for information that proves what we already believe, and we tend to just kind of ignore or dismiss anything that might challenge us.
You see this playing out constantly. It's why we tend to read news that matches our political views or follow people on social media who think just like us. We build these little echo chambers for ourselves. We're not always looking for the objective truth. A lot of the time, we're just looking for a little pat on the back that says, "See, you were right all along." Okay, next up is loss aversion. This one is incredibly powerful because it hits us right in the emotions. The core idea is that, psychologically, the pain you feel from losing something is way, way more intense than the pleasure you get from gaining the exact same thing.
So for example, say you find $10 on the street. Hey, that feels pretty good, right? It's a nice little moment in your day.
But now, imagine you lose $10 from your wallet. Ugh, that feeling is awful. It's so frustrating. That negative feeling is way more powerful than the positive one. In fact, research shows that the sting of a loss feels about twice as strong as the joy of an equivalent gain. And that makes us super cautious and terrified of taking risks where we might lose something.
All right, our third glitch is called anchoring. This is a sneaky one. It's when the very first piece of information you get about something, often a number, gets stuck in your head and then influences every decision you make after that, even if that first piece of info was totally random.
Retail stores are masters of this. You see a jacket with a price tag that says originally $200. That number, $200, is now locked in your brain. It's the anchor. So when you see it's on sale for $100, your brain doesn't really ask, is this jacket worth $100? No. Instead, it screams, wow, I'm saving $100. This is a steal. The anchor has completely changed how you see the value.
And our last one for today is social proof. This is that deep, primal instinct we have to just follow the herd. It makes total sense from a survival perspective, right? If everyone around you suddenly started running, you'd be smart to start running too and figure out why later.
This is the little voice of social proof in your head. It's why we scroll through online reviews before we buy anything. It's why a packed restaurant seems more appealing than an empty one. We instinctively outsource our thinking to the group, working under the assumption that if that many people are doing it, they must be onto something. Okay, so we've seen how our brain's programming can kind of trip us up. It might sound a little discouraging, but here is the good news. This is the awesome part. Just knowing that these biases exist is the first giant step to fighting back. So let's talk about a few simple ways to do just that.
Honestly, the single most powerful tool you have is to just slow down. First, just pause. Take a breath. Give the logical part of your brain a chance to catch up with the fast, emotional part. Second, ask yourself, what am I assuming here? Am I just looking for confirmation? Third, you can't go wrong with an old-fashioned pros and cons list. Fourth, try to tune out the noise. What does everyone else think? And ask what you actually need. And finally, start to notice what situations or feelings trigger your worst decisions.
At the end of the day, awareness is your superpower. You're not going to eliminate these biases completely. Like we said, you're human. But once you can spot them in the wild, you can consciously say, I see what's happening here, and choose to take a different path.
So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways. Number 1, always remember your brain is built to be fast, not perfect. Number 2, be mindful of those invisible forces, like anchoring and the fear of loss, that are always pulling the strings. And number 3, and this is the most important one, your single best weapon against making an irrational choice is simply taking a moment to pause.
So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know all this, what's one decision you're facing this week that you'll look at a little differently? A purchase, a conversation, maybe a habit. The power to make a smarter choice is right there for the taking.